Hi, gosh, hello, it's Coyote. It's Syrian Star Oracle. I'm just going to check the volume, and you know what? I'm thinking, if you give me a moment, I'm just going to go attach my clip and see if that makes a difference. So, welcome, welcome. Give me a second. Hopefully, we will not be too much cat interrupted. I have one kitty that's resting and another kitty that's insistent she go out. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm giving my focus to this moment. And it is cold. And she will be unusually ready to come in anywhere between 6 minutes and 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most. It's that cold. It's really cold out. We are transitioning into some very cold nights. And she loves being outdoors. But given the fact that it's breezy and cold, like probably 30s, I'm not letting her out right this second. So give me one moment. So, for what it's worth, let's try it. I'm hoping you can hear me okay enough, right? It's been a while since I've come on my own channel. Just need to get in the habit more, but I just also felt like being really quiet and, in a sense, lazy, which is fine. I'm okay. It's just that I want to become more consistent and have a Patreon for, my artwork and all the things that I had started to create and want to get back into. So let's see which this will go in. All right, and bear with me. Not really. Okay, so we'll see if it makes a difference. I don't really remember. So hopefully this helps, and I'm not sure. But hopefully it helps. Hopefully this is clearer and there's not as much static. I remember there were some times that when I would go on, it was like you couldn't hear me that well. There was some kind of noise. So welcome for an update and checking in with me. I'm calling this Tea Wisdom and Oracle Inspiration. Hi, kitty. Yeah, there's a kitty here. Yeah, someone's opened the door. I apologize. Okay, you're going to have to behave, please. So, all right. I don't, if some of you have pets, I don't have a lock on this door that would lock. And I have a cat or cats that know how to push the door a certain way. And they'll open it and they'll be persistent till they get it open. So they either be scratching, pushing, crying, talking. And it's almost like that's part of their attention, all the interruption. They are like sort of little children, except they're so freaking smart. They're like little dogs, and doggies are smart, but these cats are smart. So anyway, I think she'll be pretty behaved by now. So I'm calling, I guess, my programs to check in with you right now. Wisdom tea, because I'm going to drink tea and talk a little bit about the teacup, the image on it, and speak to imagination. And I'm going to also attach it to Oracle Inspiration because it will pick from here and just give us some insight into tonight and this week, or I'll perhaps come up with a little sentence and we'll just cover that with the card tonight that I pick. It's my dominant intention that I will more than likely start offering like 3 deck pulls. In other words, I'll offer, 3 cards and you can pick one and it will have an overall theme of what you would need to perhaps inspire you, support you, have you ponder and move to the next steps, or in the moment that you pick the card, give you some inspiration and support for the theme of the day for you. And one card is really not enough. One card is a very general overall, but you may find that it actually will complement something very dominantly in your life, depending on which card you pull. And if you're someone that sticks around for the whole shebang and you want one of each, you will probably find then that those themes of what the oracle cards or tarot cards are pulled out, really help you. So I was inspired to name this because I admire two people on YouTube, and one is Janine, who's just Janine. She's on Instagram. She's an artist, a mom, a creative being, an energy worker, just an overall truther, patriot, even though she lives in the UK. And she just shares her life. I feel she's very authentic and she's just a nice lady. Then there's who I just discovered, the Witch of Wonderlust, Olivia, who's introduced by a friend, mentor of hers, or a colleague. I think that's better. And that is I think the Green Witch, and I can't think of her first name. And I felt guided to, I've been having witchy things fall into my life via Janine from UK, via a friend, and other people who have either stores that are very, geared toward witches and pagans and just selling those supplies. But also, and then there's Elena Danan, who's a very famous YouTuber who is a druid, and she's also she recalls a rescue from the Galactics. But I've always seen things, heard things, known things, but didn't really make it my life. And this is going to bring up something also that's happening right to me now that I want to share with you because it may be happening with many of you out there. So I'm just called to take a look at it, not necessarily because I would be switching into that religion or that practice. I might, but because I am a science girl and that all things exist. And the thing that I liked about Olivia, the little bit I've heard of her, I really just got introduced to her in the last, 48 hours, maybe even less than that, maybe in the last 36 hours and listening to some of her YouTube stuff. She talks about, when she does a ritual, when she does a spell or spell casting, she does, I call it spell casting. She has intention that when she makes her potions or portents, the essential oils and the herbs, the things that she's studied or studied with other people who've made, I call it also like white witch practice or naturalistic practices, earth magic practice. She's just doing things for self-improving herself, self-improving her life. But there is that bit of, yes, your dominant intention, feeling as if, when you do these things with purpose and you revisit your certain little rituals once a week, a day that you pick, a day that you start to intend that, and then that's the day that you revisit it for a potency. And that when you go buy these things in your room, which you've written or created, you give them some care, you give them love, and that some of that, those arrangements or portents that you've done in ritual or practice or envisioning, that has power to it. And I talk about that. I talk about your power. I talk about your, powered by the stars. You have the spark of creation. I talk about standing your pillar, your body, this unit that you're in. And some of the words lately that have come to me through my mentor is love, graciousness, or I call like our body temple the pillar, where nothing to the left, nothing to the right upsets you when you're in that pillar of love. And I've been talking and speaking a lot to that. The observer affects the field, which is the same in witchcraft. You are affecting your reality. You are affecting your field, and the field doesn't end 2 feet around you. The field keeps going exponentially because all you are is energy in this solid matter form, which radiates. You radiate. You can be measured. So energy Emotion is energy in motion, which is feelable. You can feel the energy. So the tea. So I have this tea, and I'm going to do what Olivia does, and I thank her for it. I'm trying it out. Don't know if it'll work. So I have this Taylor's Scottish tea. So it's a dark tea. It says rich and full bodied black tea. And it tastes slightly different than an English breakfast or British breakfast or whatever you that type of dark tea. And just see if it says that it's some teas will say they're Pioki and some people's will be Ceylon. But I find, or at least it's maybe just one brand when I've had Ceylon, it's not potent enough for me. And I need 2 tea bags, or sometimes it doesn't work out right. And sometimes it's just a combination of whatever I'm using. I don't use white sugar, I use honey for the most part. I use raw honey, and then I did put some grass fed uh, cow's cream here. So even though I think of myself still as vegan, I probably I have a lot of I'm more like plant life. I'm not completely raw foodist because I am making a kind of borscht or stews out of rice and vegetables. But I would say my diet is more like plants and vegetables. It's products made from almond flour or coconut sugars. That's just me. And once in a while, I've been having salmon. And for Thanksgiving, I may go out and get some salmon and just have a hand. Um, and nuts. I had pine nuts today. I have just recently had cashews. I had almonds. Those are the nuts that seem to be calling me right now. But here is the mug that I'm using. It's kind of oriental looking. It's a really fat, oversized mug. It's got the image of the Buddha on it. It's going to turn it around. It just continues all around. And I got 2. So I'm love mugs. And I stopped collecting them just because I thought I was moving for so long and didn't. But I have like several mugs now, and so I thought I'm going to incorporate this hobby or obsession or collection. I'm going to feature them as I do oracle cards or have these chats with you. So inside, actually at the bottom, there's a symbol of, I think it's the Buddha's name. I have to actually look. What is this? What it actually means? But I think it's the Buddha, or it's a peace, an Om symbol or something at the bottom of the inside of the cup. And then inside there's an inscription that goes all the way around the inside of the cup. So what you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Buddha. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. And a while back, I probably talked a little bit about the Buddha. And what I do know about him is he was a prince, but he gave up his wealth to be in spirit. And he became a very wise entity, respected. This is good. It's getting a little cool, but these cups did not come with like a top, and I don't have a series of plates that would cover this really well. It's basically really good. I pretty much came out the taste that I like. There's a certain amount of measuring or eyeballing your honey and your cream to have it come just out really well. So what you imagine, you create. I've spoken to this about this before. And right now it's so important to stay positive. And that can be really challenging, hard. You can get really discouraged. You can feel outnumbered. You can feel like you're in a wackadoodle home or work. But it's really important to, if you're able, once you notice that, to stay positive. It's not just a word, it's a practice. And in practice, there's a feeling. It's really important right now because the mainstream media and TV is still spell casting in some, I thought like backward ways. In other words, with all that power of showing you so much, it's still geared toward, being upset, pointing fingers, giving you the same information. I can't tell you, I've left this house and whenever they have the news, it's the same story, like every 10, 9 minutes over and over again with sensationalism, said with great passion, said to really set you on fire, to be worried and upset and blame and see what happens and be scared. It's like, what the fuck? Like, if you said it 3 times in the morning, do you have to say it 6 and 12 and 90 times throughout the day? Yes, they do. Because they're showing you that really the good people in charge are showing you how stupid to listen to the news over and over is. But some people won't get it because it's the program. Now, I'm going to, get to readings and all kinds of stuff. But I noticed it myself, like there are certain movies that I like and watch. And as I watch them more and more, I can see where they use the same guy in this scene. He's supposed to die, for example, a fighter, a warrior, and he's alive in this scene, dying. And then they have stand-ins, and you get to like see the stand-ins, or you pay attention to the script, and you wonder, would that character really say that? And in that year, 2259, would they really say the word shit? I mean, and if it's that advanced, would they really have X, Y, and Z go on? It's just some things don't make sense. So I just analyze, but I try to have fun with it, and not get caught up in any kind of like dependency of not dependency, uh, the sad side of things, but just to be aware that the evil or the bad guy they present and the good guy, it's almost like the same person because there's good and bad in everyone, everything. When something is purely evil, you will feel it and you will see it and you will know it. And yes, does evil try to twist things? Yes, it's true too. So that's where knowing yourself, imagining, creating your life, and speaking the things that you wish into your field is really important. I want to interject here that YouTube has changed some of its format, and there seems to be a lot of my past recent videos that are missing or kind of hiding, like I didn't put them where they are. Um, so it would be good now if I get back to it and maybe try to have a way to save them somewhere because it's totally different ones. It doesn't look consistent. I had a hard time finding something I was looking for. So, but again, right, I haven't been talking to you on any regular basis for about 2 months. Okay. What else I want to say about what you imagine you create? I also want to speak to that because today I had something happen. It was good. It's a little good creation. I was starting to feel probably a little thwarted that my income is really, really low. My car isn't working correctly, so I'm not ride sharing. I haven't ride shared in the past 14 days as much as I normally would or could try to because the car's not working correctly. It's very likely I could possibly do some Instagram. I think I'm getting a card or a shipped or something like that. I don't know if I want to DoorDash. It seems to not pay as much as shipped or maybe even Instacart. But anyway, so my income in a sense is really down. But I kept affirming today, like I'd say, well, this is temporary and something wonderful is happening to me now. Something amazing is happening for me now. Something wonderful is happening to me now. Thank you for my $40 million. Thank you for my $1 million. Just something wonderful. I'm just going to move ahead the best I can. So I went to one job interview, and it was like a total bust. And I suppose I could have, you know, I don't know, tried to get more out of the manager to give me more, but it wasn't really going to happen. She really wanted, she was onboarding and signing on people, whatever hours they could do, and for them just to say yes. So she could plug them into the system where she wanted to. And she was authentic that she said, depending on what you give me for availability, I can guarantee you 0 to 16 hours a week. Now it can be very busy some of the weeks here at Home Goods. So I'm going to just say it, Home Goods. And it's very likely, oh yeah, you could get 28 to 35. It just really depends what hours you're willing to work. But I have to tell you that one week you may get 0 hours. And I said, well, that's no way to have a job. It's not really anything you can depend on. So it's not really anything consistent. And I'm looking for more consistency. And she said, oh yeah, you're looking for more consistency. And I was like, yes. And so if you're going to just say, I'll hire you, but there may be a week you're still only going to get 0 to 16 hours, which could be 5 or 8 hours. I said, that won't work for me. That's like having no job at all. And so she was more looking for a retirees or college or high school that they need the hours, but not necessarily the money. For her, I don't know, maybe some people know her different. I feel she has a very closed bedside manner, very heart chakra, very closed down. She smiles and she means it in that nano moment, but she's very hard to reach. So I don't want to work with someone like that. I've been flashing them the golden rosary, and I know what to do, but I don't want to try that hard because I'm there. I want to have fun. I want to have a nice time working. I want to be helpful to people, but I don't really want to pull. I don't want to play that game. So that was fine. I did that. I also saw my mechanic about the car. I've been pendulum it. I'm going to show you. Just made it it's a very simple pendulum, right? A long while back, I used to wear this um, rose quartz heart, and I did this wrap. It's a little bit loose hairs here from the string, but you can see it. Let's see. Yeah, I think it got a little tarnished. This I really think this was dark at one time. It wasn't silver, but anyway, so it's translating silver. So I did this wrap. I really liked it. It's a very simple wrap, but it holds really well. To make these wraps again, I would use copper. I would use true silver or gold because I think it's worth to do that for people. But I made this for myself. I never, sold this one. I sold other ones, and I put it on a string, and it's become my pendulum. Which I will talk a little bit about pendulums tonight. So, anyway, I had a second interview. It is at a grocery store. It doesn't look like it. And I asked the hiring manager, I don't have to sign anything with the C word and the face mask and they're not continuing that. I mean, the time is over and people are like really wising up wise, but some places still have this on where you have to sign your signature. I said, and I'm not doing that. He said, no, the company sounds like the company went out of their way to try and support the people, which is really, really interesting because up until recently they were still talking. I don't hear it so much when I go in this other grocery store about boosters and shots and all kinds of shit like that. So they have a pharmacy there. Anyway, this particular company has a union. So I want to get back to the money part. So, and then I'll go to this. It's kind of related. So I went to buy something at the store after my interview. And in terms of this thing I was saying about something wonderful is happening to me now, I went to go buy a few things and there was like extra change in the little cup hole because someone had paid and they just wanted to leave and they left their change and they probably forgot it. But I was there for a while and that lady, because I know someone there, and that lady never came back while I was checking out and speaking to the attendant who's becoming a friend. Then when I got home, there was something from the IRS. which is interesting because it said I overpaid my taxes. I didn't know if it was a bill or what. So it's like $142. That was unexpected. And that's helpful at this time because of my shifting jobs and, really wanting to have this channel be big and help people through the energy work and cards and house blessings and so forth. Anyway, so what we speak, what we're intending, we create, it exponentially goes out. I'm going to give Jake Ducey a shout. Listen to his, he has a hypnosis. If you go on YouTube and you or look up Jake Ducey, and I think all of his YouTube videos, however short or long, if you go into the description, you'll get a free hypnosis. And in there is, something like I give my true talents with love. I am richly blessed financially. Financially, isn't it amazing? Also, Brian Scott, excuse me. Brian Rose is someone else. Brian Scott, who has a channel, and I think he's Reality Revolution, and he does a Neville Goddard meditation, which you can put on loop on your computer or laptop. And it's something wonderful is happening to me now. Isn't it amazing? Something wonderful is happening to me now. You'll see it in the title. Something wonderful is happening to me now. And it's all about something wonderful. Anyway, you'll see it. All right. So I just want to say, right, when I want to talk about this tea, this wisdom tea, what you imagine, you create. So instead of feeling, I just don't feel like being depressed or completely worried about my car not acting fully right. And I'm trying to find the correct words to pendulum to really kind of maybe share with my mechanic, who he's been a mechanic for 40 years. So it's not like he's out of school or just has a hobby or making things up. He's worked on my car for about 6 years. I've had the car 7 years, and he's worked on it for 6 years and done different things and whatever. So he's very familiar, and he's very familiar with foreign cars. But the more newer fangled ways they make different parts, sometimes it's harder to get a read on, I gather. However, what I want to share with you is I do trust him. I like him. He's a family guy and all that stuff. So I'm just trying to get clear, to ask my intuition what's up with my car. And because it could die like any second, the way it acts, it goes, but it kind of doesn't want to. And maybe it's me. I want to go, but I kind of don't want to. Because a car is reflective of our journey, is reflective of our body. And I would have to say that I haven't wanted to get an inside job, but I am from winter glad to get an inside job. I could walk to this job. It will probably take me an hour maybe to walk. I don't care. That's fine. It's nice, and that could be nice and meditative. Like an hour, I'm sorry, it's a mile and a half from here if I looked at it correctly. So anyway, with this job, here comes the other glitch, in a sense, kind of a glitch, kind of a slight hiccup. So they are a union at this grocery store, which means that the store has to make sure you have at least 15 hours. And if there's a discrepancy, you can take it up with the union. But the store needs really more help. So if you can give more hours or stay, whatever, and talk to that supervisor for the day, you could end up with your 28, 38 hours a week, which is fine. I'm going to do my best to work 5 days a week for the most part, 4 or 5 days a week, and be there a chunk of time and come home and talk to you or work on something creative. But I feel like when you change your schedule, walk and live into something new, it starts to change you and you become more open and broader. And I'm really looking forward to walking. And sometimes, yes, my muscle might bother me in my leg, but I think it's going to be okay. It's going to be just fine. Tomorrow I will leave my car, and it's going to be an interesting journey of walking and going to the chiropractor, and maybe I will take a lift and pay for that at some point to get back or get closer to home, or a friend may jump in and help me. But, your friends are usually working and they can't just come and get you. If they come and get you, it's 2 hours later or whatever, which is fine. I just need a place to stay while I'm waiting, and it could be 4 hours, whatever. But it's all going to work out. I really just feel like it is what it is. Solution is always present. Something will reveal itself. The car fix will be there. My mechanic will have an epiphany. He will discover, oh, well, maybe it's this. Oh, that was the cat. So I just wanted to come on. I wanted to start doing some teas and light little wisdom chats around, whatever the cup reminded me of in terms of power, and share it with you. And also, the tea as a drink, if you like them at all, they can be soothing. So I mostly, I can't say I'm giving up completely the cream yet, but it's interesting as I've been talking about. Not, I haven't had coffee for. I do like the taste of coffee. I do like the smell of coffee. I do like to try coffee, but I have not had coffee for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It could be 3 or 4 days. That's not very long, but I really haven't felt like I want to. I kind of want to have more teas or tea with lemon, which will omit the cream, or make my Mountain Mama recipe for a healthy immunity, which I will share with you at some point. But I'd like to be able to have the overhead, what do you call it, like a camera, or the stand. I have a stand, but it's not like overhead, and I want you to be able to see what I'm making, because that will make more sense, and I can show that to you. Yeah, I think I'd like to do it that way. And I should have that anyway while I have this channel. And maybe I even need the what do you call that the light, the round circle light. I forget what it's called, mirror light, not rainbow light. Sorry, I can't think of the word right now. So I'm gonna put my tapestry up. You see my flag. You see I have some fairy lights. The fairy lights here, over there. Actually, you can see them a little bit there. Right here. There's some on the side. I don't know if you can really. It's kind of wrapped around stuff, but they're wrapped around with some. I have like a pedestal over here with a light on it. I have some around my plants in the back. But there's my tapestry, which I really love, and I just tried to stretch it out a little bit more so it lies better. But I did iron it a while back, and the cat, when I first put it up, one of my cats was trying to go up between the wall and tapestry. She thought it was, I don't know, she was having fun. Maybe she thought she was helping me. She was having fun. But anyway, so I wanted, however, these are going to evolve into some tea chats and oracle card reading, and just, letting you know I'm still here. Just want to be of help and be of service. It's pretty very likely that a part of me will also be looking more into rituals and spell casting. You know that I love the crystals. Some witches don't know about crystals, and some do. Some witch people really just practice, I don't know, writing things and putting it in special bowls. We pray over your need or desire, so we can assist you through prayer to bring it in. You have to understand, in every spiritual practice, I hesitate to call religion, because religion is dogmatic and often filled with lies. But there are seeds of sameness in all religions, whether it's pagan, the Druids, Wiccan practices, and what else? And then science. It's really all interrelated. It's all godly good. It's really all the magic of the universe and how we use the words to bring in what we want. And as I was saying, I think briefly on one of my little Facebook check-ins with you today, and maybe I've said it at the beginning about Olivia, the witch of Wonderlust, she did incorporate, she said, when you're doing your rituals, you're preparing your bowls or your tinctures, or you're preparing your herbs, it's feeling, seeing, intending what you want in that particular image, that particular spot, whether it's what I would call like candles and candle magic, herbs and herb magic, making an arrangement, drawing. It could be anything you draw. It doesn't have to be a pentagram. It doesn't have to be a Buddhist symbol. It can be something that's uniquely come to you and that you feel very powerful. It doesn't have to be a Reiki symbol. All these images, all these sacred geometries are out there from the cosmos. Some have made in crop fields. Some are put in many paintings, your paintings or drawings, religious texts. The images are there. It's how your attitude and words call in this spell casting. And to have these things happen more immediately is us being in alignment, us being matched up, and the need for it. And the desire for it, the need, the desire, the want, that we see it, that we feel it. If I want my $1,000,000, what am I going to do that with? Well, it's true. It may be in my hand and totally do other things. But what I've called in when I have $1,000,000, buy a house or two. I take care of this particular organization. I may start an organization. I get to travel, and I can be more specific about the houses or what I want to create. I can be more specific about the organizations or those few people that want to start something really integrally, like to help the homeless or the aged, in a way that they are free from dogmatic tape of paperwork and a definition of you're not good or good enough, or you're not drunk enough, so we can't help you get into this program because you have to prove you're an addict. I mean, I'm talking about when you are really partnered with people, you're able to financially support them, emotionally support them, intellectually and heartfully, the heart support them. And you really gift and give and are there as either mentor or trustee. And you are there not for the puck, their next step best they can, and hold a place where they can have a life, or hold a place where they're supported, they have a roof over their head, and they're building to their next steps. And you speak to those people in the language in which they can understand and receive and move ahead. And if they can't understand a particular language, such as you're talking way quantum physics and science, and they're not ready for that. They're just ready for earth geology. They're not ready for quantum physics and portals and gateways and formulas, frequencies, calculations, calibrations that come from outer space. They're just ready for, let's mine some minerals. It depends how you speak to people, so you can be on a common ground and help to lift them up. Now, some people won't want your help anyway. They may just want your money. It's just knowing we all have our path to walk. So that said, let me pick a card tonight. Oh, I want to go one more thing. Pendulum. So my understanding, the way a pendulum works is it's an extension of your energy, extension of your higher self. That's how I look at it. And some of the pendulums I've seen have point to them, or they use them for dowsing, sometimes to find water or find something. There used to be like this rod or wand that somehow found wells. And there's a whole history to pendulum, which I haven't looked up in a long time, so I really don't remember. I'm just using something I'm comfortable because I made it, so it has my energy in it. And I made it with care, and I trust what I made. So what I did was, you have to find out which way your pendulum is going to swing, sort of like back and forth, like north to south, east to west. And one of those directions will be no, and one of those directions will be yes. And so if I were to use this right now, let me just have it like on a hemp type string. So I'm going to say, my name is Ritza Elizabeth. I sometimes get called Coyote, and I'm speaking on YouTube right now. And if you notice, my hand is really, really quiet, but it's starting to swing. So my name is Ritza Elizabeth. I'm sometimes called Coyote, and I'm speaking on YouTube right now. My hand is really steady, and it's watching the pendulum. I love my kitties. They're awesome. Sometimes they're a pest, but they're awesome. Okay, do you see how it's swinging back and forth? That's going to be my yes. Now I'm going to say something that's totally not true, and watch how my hand is and just see what happens. So here's my hand right up here. I really want to live in Texas, and I want to have a giraffe, a monkey, and a buffalo right in my living room. I'm going to move to Texas, and I'm going to have a giraffe and a monkey and a buffalo right in my living room. Okay, my hand is still. You see it swing. Woo, maybe I kind of, it's almost not true. It's like almost like saying, yes, you do want one. No, I don't want a monkey, giraffe, and a buffalo in my living room. So, but it's going not to you, right? It's more going this way. So one is yes and one is no. Now, if it were to be neutral, it might stay still. Your pendulum won't move. Or if it's a little bit of both, it might go in a circle because it's like, well, yes and well, maybe ask a different question, but it's kind of yes and kind of no. So it'll do more. I'm gonna manipulate this now. So it'll go like this in a circle because it's kind of figuring it out. It'll go more in a circle like outside the outline of a clock or a beach ball. And if it's not a question that it's able to answer for you because the situation needs more clarity, or you didn't ask the clearest, the sentence was a little muddled. You have to make the sentences very, not really long, like not a whole paragraph. Yeah, it's gonna do yes. So I've been using the pendulum, and there was a time when I used the pendulum, and it really didn't work for me because I would say things like, and I'm a dog too, and it would say yes. So it would say my name, I would say my real name, and it would be yes. I would say really silly things, and it would be yes. So it really wasn't working for me. I was able to affect it and say, see, it doesn't work, so it's not working. So, but now I'm more open to it. Only if you're open to it. I think at one point I'll probably cover pendulums a little bit more in fun, and automatic writing, which I started to talk about a long time ago because Michael Sandler does automatic writing and he's been a hit with that. But automatic writing's been around for a long time. There's another way. I sometimes use my hand and ask a question that will be like yes, no. Sometimes it seems muddled because you have to find a way to be more concise and clear with the question. I'm going to take another sip. All right. So what do you think for today? I want to, I know that one thing that was been on my mind, as I mentioned earlier, about mainstream media, and it's really still chaotic. So many people know the truth. And let me talk about the truth. Now, some of you have heard this from me before. The truth. There is the truth, which is undeniable, which will be for all beings everywhere, no matter age or race or heritage. It will be the truth of the cosmos in all multi-dimensions. For example, matter is neither created nor destroyed. So even though it sounds very ultimately chivalrous to say, and I smote my enemy and won, or people who describe Archangel Michael, he killed the devil and God always wins. Well, here you go, darling, you motherfuckers. Here you go. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Energy is energy. It just is. The infinite mind has created so much, and in some of that creation, they've created more. Because the infinite mind itself wanted to grow and grow and grow. We can call the infinite mind God, the Alpha, the Omega, the one, the only, the source energy, the force, the goodness and gladness all things are from, and the ultimate one who will decide what kind of energies go where and stay where, how they're utilized. But we can know some things that are truth. Earth has gravity at this time. That is truth for all beings everywhere. The Earth has a particular frequency, and often in this frequency is also density. And so some of our space cousins cannot be here right away because it's a little bit like this. When you are a deep sea diver and you want to go 800 feet or 300 feet below the surface, you don't just have a snorkel on. You usually have a suit depending on the depth that you're going to, and the suit will help you breathe properly. You'll have different um, mechanical type devices. You'll have oxygen tank, whatever. As those of you who do deep sea dive, where you need oxygen to breathe in tanks and suits of certain types for different waters or different um, like exploration. That's a truth. That's what we have. If you could breathe underwater at 20 feet, 300 feet, 800 feet without oxygen, a tank, you have gills. And so humans breathe air. We have a system with oxygen so we can go. That's like a truth. That's a truth with a capital T. And I know I have dear friends, and not everyone, they want to say everyone has a path and everyone has their truth. Everyone has a path and everyone has a story. And in it, we can perceive what is true for us, for that moment, for that time of our evolution. But it does not mean it's truth with a capital T that encompasses all beings or all environments, right? If I go currently to the moon base, I don't just breathe on the surface. I would need a particular apparatus. If our space cousins come to Earth right now, their bodies have to undergo a physical change in order to be in this particular density. Otherwise, they're on their spaceships. When I'm ready to go back to my spaceship, I will have changed enough in my crystalline body to go, or be of a particular vibration that we will be a match to go, and I've asked for the kitties to come. It's just certain common sense. So, in this now, I want to say that those of us, many, many people all over the planet who knew for a long, long time, or knew for a chunk of time, or are just awakening to truth of what's been going on, especially the past 2 years, but in the past 20 years, the past 40 years, the past 60 years, the past 200 years, the past 1,000 years, the people that are all waking up or in agreement about, yes, there's been great evil, or there's been great chaos, there's been great manipulation. All of us, millions of people, in some ways, sometimes are still a little divided. Just even what I said about truth with the capital T, or who was really good, who was really bad, or systems of our government, systems of education, systems of religion, systems of spirituality, etc., etc. There's these slight divisions. Because even the best of patriots, there's some who just know about the politics and they know where to look. Or they know something's wrong and they got the surface politics, but they don't have what's really going on underneath the what you would not only call nefarious, extremely unfathomably diabolical, spellcasting, wicked evil. Wicked evil. Then you have people who know about biblical stuff. And they have gauged everything on the biblical stuff, but some that know what is more truth, and some that are just holding to sort of regular life and do still what governments say and forgot about their own rights, things like that. But there's still many of us who know the truth, and yet we're all still very, very different. And then you've got people that are very asleep or just on what looks like the other side in a sense, because they are of that bent and their ideology just works a certain way because their frequency has been entrained by the lily effect and their perception of life and their funnel of learning in such a way as to keep them in that almost lower thinking vibration. It doesn't really mean they're bad people, just like we who are very awake are not bad people sometimes when we swear, Or we could be wrong, and if we're really good, then we just say, well, I was wrong, but now I'm more like really rethinking this whole bigger picture. We, it's funny, the phrase, we are all in this together. We're all in this together because we are on the earth breathing. Most of us are breathing air still, no matter what. Some of us are choosing to breathe out carbon dioxide, but air still gets in there somewhere in the mask or whatever they're wearing. Then you have, well, just kind of losing it here a little bit here, but we're all coming together with some big awareness, and the truth of capital T will be self-evident and revealed. The mainstream media does not give you complete truth. It gives you complete truth. It gives you stories, sensationalism. It gives you some truth. It was interesting, they, on the mainstream media, when they covered this big accident, they said, see, we're just reporting what we see. We're just reporting what we see. We're really here. We're giving you the news as live as it is. It's just, we're just, because they're starting to cover their ass because they know in the fucking trouble. They're in trouble when they say things like, so I'm going to get onto the Oracle thing, I promise. President Trump is, ex-President Trump or whatever is, Donald Trump is running again for being a president in 2024. Donald Trump did not announce that. Donald Trump said, I want to announce my candidacy. Prior to that, the news said Donald Trump is going to announce he's running for president again. That is something they should not have said, and they're in trouble for that. Because he didn't say, so watch the words. He's not running for president in 2000. He announced his candidacy. So something's going to be up to show you more. And maybe on CNN, maybe on Fox News, but not the mainstream media. And yet, yes, CNN has been really evil, and so has Fox been half and half, and a mixture of rottenness. Well, they even come out and talk about, Biden and Hunter and a lot of things that the mainstream media is not talking about. However, you have to just listen if you want to the story, but do it like as if you're a student, and then put the darn TV away or don't listen to it at all. I happen to live in a house where that TV is on, so I know the TV is talking about and the game shows and the entrainment, and it hurts my inner ear, and it's nutty. So believe me, that part of me does not want to live here if I did. No TV and not the way it's on. In time, mainstream media is going to be very, very different. Because what will mostly take over the mainstream are citizen journalists, which they are now on other channels and here on YouTube for many, many different topics. Me, I want to help through the energy work that's been given to me, that comes to me, that's downloaded. I want to help you through oracle cards. I want to help with house blessings and removing entities, start to do art more, show my art, and perhaps even become very good with showcasing crystals and even the spell casting and rituals that bring you more enlivening, um, bring you more support, because you are powered by the stars, because we are the spark of creation, because you are the key, because we are meant to live for hundreds of years and thousands of years. And some people say, oh no, I don't want to do that because I'll be too old and ugly, and oh my God, who wants to be on the planet that long? Well, that's them. I'm going to be here for a while. I'm here for a while, dudes. I ain't leaving. I feel like I'm 20. I feel like I'm 20 inside. So whatever little bit doesn't seem like it's working, whatever is here that you say is old, and I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm smarter. In a lot of ways, sometimes I'm even nicer. For sure, I'm cute. But what I will say is, no, we get to return to our original blueprint. That's what I want to help you with. That's what my whole channel and my service will be about. And who knows, I have this desire still to act and write screenplays and travel and live in beautiful, simple places, and welcome people for potlucks and spiritual cinema and wickedly fantastic talks where we help create beauty, even more beauty in the world, and magical events and miracles that open up for me, for you, and anyone that we hold in space and intention for. This is what I want for you. Now, Me to do the oracle card. What is the message then for tonight? Stepping into our power. Because so many people too are like, everything looks icky still. It looks chaotic still. I mean, like here I am with my car not working correctly, so I can't ride share. I can't make not only $400 a week. I can't make 700, or I don't have potential to make 7 or 8 because I can't use the car in a way that would be safe, effective, get to timely places because it jerks and does these things. I So yeah, I could say it could be the transmission. I think we want to believe it's not the transmission, and I don't want to spell cast that, but it's like it just doesn't want to. Doesn't really want to go well. So I'm not going as far, but I'm blessed. I'm able to get some. Like maybe I can go 20 miles in one direction, or because it's been like 20 minutes. So whatever that is, 5 miles, 16 miles. I'm not going like a whole hour away. Just, I mean, if it dies, it dies. I'll have it towed. I'll work it out. I'll walk. I'll call Lyft. It's not been my thing that I really want to get into a vehicle that is driven around lots of chaotic people. But do what you have to do. So I only want to pull a card on. I always do this though. It seems to be a recurring thing for me. What's this the attitude like of staying light, staying bright? What does the cards want to tell us tonight about you using your imagination and you creating your reality because of the ickiness they show on TV, or maybe some suppression still at your work or your school, like some dumbass thing that they still want you to do. Remember, my dearest ones, a mandate is not a law. A request is not a law. A requirement is not a law. A lot of HR departments did not support you, the employees. They just did what the government said that the business should be partnered with them. That socialism leads to communism with control. This over the mouth is satanic, tells you to shut up. Over the nose tells you not to breathe so much, to not help your body function at its optimum best, and you're breathing in fibers of your mask. Doesn't matter. You can believe that you are doing the right thing, and if you are so powerful that you believe you are doing that, that's really going to help. Probably does. On some level, probably does help you. But as far as basic science goes, it is in contradiction of science. When you are in a carbon unit, as you are, you breathe air. You try to breathe clear air, clean air as best possible, unless you're going to be in an oxygen tent, which will breathe the best air ever. But if you were going to wear a mask forever, you are slowing down your brain function and your organ function. That's part of science too, right? So, how do the cards want to support us on using our imagination? Hopefully, I'm just going to get one card because I know I've talked a lot with going on to about an hour now. So this deck is from Colette Baron Reed. It's called A Good Tarot, and I first saw Katarina from Greece using this. I haven't really seen. She hasn't come up in my feed, but I wonder how she's doing. So, how would it be? How would you want to? My hands are so little. I don't know if I'll ever be able to shuffle like the pros, but anyway, using our imagination to create our reality, and also being free of fear around creating. So using our imagination to create a reality. Okay. I don't know if I want to get any more on that. I'm going to let that go for right now. Using our imagination to create a reality and partnering that to be free from fear. comes up. Now the good tarot, okay. I'm going to leave the two piles separate. So the first card about using our imagination to create a reality, it's the Four of Earth. Okay, this is more like a woodland fairy, magical, filled with light for. I'm going to look up four in my thing. So, okay, so I'm putting myself on the spot here. So Earth and us, changing our energy, changing our frequency. Antennas, I was just talking a lot about breathing, right? Trees are our antennas for oxygen. And the four is leap of faith, I believe. Leap of faith. Okay. So using your imagination to create reality, leap of faith. Let's see. Four of Earth. Okay. Ownership, the beauty of divine order, trusting in solid foundation. Even if I feel shaken up, I'm unable to understand why things happen as they do. I know for certain that divine order manifests in all aspects of my life. What I have built rests on a solid foundation, so there's no need to fear. Leading into this one. Now there's a little bit more, but no need to fear. I don't make this stuff up. This is so cool, right? So for a leap of faith, and that we are part of the earth is evolving, so we're evolving too. Remember, I used to talk about the earth used to resonate at 7.83, so did our brains to the earth. Now the human resonance is much higher. We are becoming more crystalline, we're becoming more light filled. This card is very light filled, right? And it's talking about the foundations and creating. Even if I feel shaken up and unable to understand why things happen as they do, my car not working properly, my savings is so dwindled, and things are happening, but just I want to teach you to surrender to the organic flow. Surrender, trust. Solution is ever present. If we think, oh, this problem, what happens is we can't be open to that thing that's hovering to come to us. That money that came to me in the grocery store, the check that came in the mail today, as I kept saying, you know what? My attitude I can change. My attitude I can lift up. I can be grateful for my tea. I can be grateful for you. I can be grateful for my kombucha. I can be grateful for my kitties. I can be grateful that the toilet flushes. I can be grateful that my car is not so great, isn't working, and it could die any moment. It's still getting me from point A to Z, A to B, A to Z, so I can go to a grocery store and back of my choice. I'm going slow, but I'm doing it. I'm willing to step out and do that and move forward, right? I know for certain that divine order manifests in all aspects of my life. What I have built rests on a solid foundation, so there's no need to fear. We're going to go into the card, whatever this is, which is about, how did I talk about? I said, like, just being with the fear, how to be with the fear, how to move with the fear. Okay. So now let me read the rest of this. While it is true that nothing is permanent in the material world, I find security in the existence of a divine plan. Spirit is all in the material world. I find security in the existence of a divine plan. Spirit is always there to remind me that I am exactly where I'm meant to be for my highest good and the highest good of all, and that I always have abundance available to me. Solution is always present. The earth is abundant, and there's the forest in the part of I think it's the rainforest in the Soviet Union, and it is so big. What is it? Part of now the rainforest. I think it's called a certain thing. It's called a certain area. It's in Soviet Union. It's in the Amazon. It's a certain type of forest terrain. Anyway, it's so big in Soviet Union You could build a decent sized house for every man, woman, and child on the planet. And that's a statistic that's true. Why do people go hungry? Why are we eating shit? Why is there sugar in everything? Why is there formaldehyde in your cheap maple syrup? Why would you buy Aunt Jemima with freaking formaldehyde in it? Why would you take a thing with formaldehyde in it? Why you want to embalm yourself? Why do we let things go? That this junk, there shouldn't be no junk in our food, whatever it is you like. Even if they say, oh, I want to eat a Twinkie. Well, can't they make a Twinkie that's a particular flour in a homemade cream? And there you go. Do they have to stick it in with all the plastic? Think how magnificent your body is. How magnificent your body is. You can puff away, you can pop away the different drugs that your body, you're a walking instrument of miraculous frequency, miraculous mechanism. And you, excuse me, you fuck it up, you fuck it up with all kinds of drugs. You don't know what's in it, you just do it. And here you are. Think of how powerful you are. How powerful you are. We will get together and demand no more of this plastic. What's in the blue pill? What's in the red pill? Why on television would you go for the red pill saying this is worse for you when you got 37 side effects, but it seems to be helping with your whatever, but you have 37 side effects to look forward to, and now you're taking a green pill and a purple pill and a white pill, and you drink or you smoke, you eat McDonald's. Why do we eat this junk? Think about these things, how miraculous you are. Miraculous. So a leap 4 is a leap of faith. Use your imagination, create your reality. I'm going to speak to this one about facing our fear. How do we face our fear, empower ourselves with this fear and this other stuff that's being still handled to us? Oh, and there's one more thing about that. That's really important I want to share with you. So Queen of Air, the mistress of the skies, the wise owl, the wisdom that you are. Sometimes people have said birds are the eyes of God. So let's just see the Queen of Air. Okay. Page, King. Queen of Air. Setting healthy boundaries, strong self-esteem, calculated and shrewd decisions, clear communication, well organized, a wordsmith. I have clarity of purpose. My intentions are in alignment with my understanding. There's always strategy in the game called life. Can I let go of false truths and be rigorously honest with myself and others? Remember, I talked about truth for capital T. That's true for all beings in most every place. There may be places on planets where people do have gills, and so that's how they breathe. They're in the water, they're on the land. But for the most part, 2 plus 2 is 4 in any place where we are. Humans breathe air. There's gravity on Earth. There's certain agreements that are just truth. Change is a constant. It's a universal law. Change is the only law that doesn't change because it's ever changing. That's the only law that's the only law that's ever changing because change is constant. Change is always moving. Change, that is only the law. That's the only universal law that changes. And so we have the Queen of Air to help us with our fears. We have set healthy boundaries. Boundary is a funny word for me, but we're setting boundaries in the sense of what are we willing to do? How do we keep our integrity? How will we recognize and step into our own and create our own self-strong esteem? So she may be calculated and shrewd in decisions. We have to be calculative and shrewd to a point with others who may want to use us, just like the woman who was hiring people for home goods. Well, give me all your availability. The more availability you have, I promise, probably, give you about 16 hours. It may be more, but when you give us your hours, depending on your availability, you could end up with a week that's 0. Why would I work for you? No, I'm going to work for you to give you some time, and I'm looking for 30 hours. If you give me 16, that's not 30. Now, if you say to me, there's 16 hours to start, but there's always room to pick up. And what we notice is that even though I can give you 16, there's going to be 6 more. And probably more than that. Depends, can you want to learn more things? That's a little bit different than saying, well, yep, you're seasonal, so some weeks will be 0. No, fuck that. You have to decide what salt you're made of and just go for it. Okay. There is always strategy in the game called life. So solutions are always present. We must trust that even though we can't see it, there's got to be an answer that's really good and going to help you out of whatever. And me too. Because God, I ain't here. Source energy, I am not here. Infinite mind, I am not here to be abused. I am here to lead. I am here to function and have fun. I am here to be rich, wealthy, and strong. I'm here to be creative. I'm here to be happy. I'm here to be myself forever. I choose immortality. I choose immortality. I choose immortality and to be of service to the planet and the Galactic Federation of Nations. I choose to be helpful and be of service to you. Oh, and the last thing I want to leave you with is for those of you that are seeing things, yes, there are visitors. And sometimes there are orbs, different colors and different sizes. And sometimes, like, you may have a round dark ball, you may have a square, you may have whatever. Yes, there are entities coming to visit you. Try your best to be unafraid. So, what I have found is if I'm ever doubtful, I just say, well, if you're a shadow of darkness, you have to leave. No, not allowed to stay. But usually I just say, you're cute and thank you for coming. And I'm really glad you're watching over me because I know that these things, for me, they're good. Whether they're a scout ship or an entity from a ship or an elemental. So do your best to know that you are never alone. The invisible is always hearing you and it wants to give you what you wish. So do your best to check your energy, check within. And if you're having trouble finding a few words to string together for you to stay uplifted and feel that alignment of energy, call upon me because I am here for you. And it's just time to rise our vibration and raise ourselves as the galactic humans that we were sent here to be. You are powered by the stars. You are the spark of creation. You're meant to be God, goddess on earth, and have a most magnificent life. Me too. And for you, I wish that. My little coyote heart loves you. You have fun tonight, and thank you. I'm so glad I got to reconnect. Good wishes. See you next time.